Welcome to the Hardcore MBA podcast with your host, Erland Bakke.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Hardcore MBA. And this is, as you can see, a video podcast, but we also do it in audio. So if you're listening on audio, you'll only be hearing our voices. If you're on YouTube, you will be able to see our faces as well. We just recently changed to video, as a lot of people said that the episodes that we produced using video, they liked that. So it's that's why we've changed our format. We listen to you, and we improve the show based on your feedback. So if you have any feedback, please, write a review on iTunes or send us an email at erland@mroutsource.com. Today I'm really excited because we have everything about email marketing here today. It is all about email marketing. Now, a lot of people might think that email marketing is a little bit, old school, a little bit outdated. What about all this social media? What about Periscope? So today I've invited marketing expert Kate Barrett here on the show. She is the owner of Shine a Light Media, based in London, England, town and resort. So how are you today? Where are you signing in from?
I'm very well, thank you, and thank you so much for inviting me on the podcast today. I'm, really honoured to be here. So I am Kate Barrett. I'm calling in from London, as you said, and I'm the founder of Shine a Light Media and the Email Marketing Academy. So really helping people to save time and increase their revenue using email marketing.
Cool. And you started that company in 2012, and now you work with lots and lots of clients.
I do indeed. I specialize in working with retail clients, but I've got a whole wide range of clients, and I've worked with B2B through to online retailers and e-commerce. So a real range of different clients that I work with, from entrepreneurs just getting started all the way through to very, very big businesses, including Nissan, Adidas, Secret Sales, EDF Energy, Marks and Spencer. So sort of the really big multinational brands as well. So a real wide range, which has, been really great for my experience and building my knowledge.
So Secret Sales, that was actually a client of ours in 2007 in London. How are they doing?
Yeah, not too bad. I did a review of their email program. Not too bad. They had some things that they needed to change, but most companies do, to be honest with you. There's very, very few companies out there who are using email marketing exactly how it should be used and using all the technology that's available to its full advantage. And to be honest with you, most companies don't need to do that, but you need to be at a place that really works for your business, and you need to be using email marketing in the right way for your business. So yeah, they're not doing too badly. A few things for them to tweak, but on the whole, not too bad. I've seen worse.
So, we all get these emails. You can tell sort of people's level of insight. The sort of very low level marketeers, they will send out an email which is all about themselves. So they don't even ask the question, what's in it for them? Or what's in it for us, actually opening the email, and then you get the sort of tacky graphic, and then you get because you have in all these email marketing programs, you have these different templates that you can use, and instantly you open this email and you go, ooh, marketing, and then you just kind of, and I'm a notorious unsubscriber. Like, I'm constantly, if I get an email and it's unsolicited, that's actually something I really hate, unsolicited email. I scroll to the bottom, I unsubscribe, and if I can't unsubscribe, because some people you cannot unsubscribe with, I go to spam, and I tell Google, this email is spamming me, and that's really, really bad for the opening of that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's the key thing. There's a massive difference between those types of emails and using email marketing in the right way. So if it's unsolicited, you haven't asked for it, you haven't signed up to receive it, that is spam. That's, you shouldn't be receiving that, and in a lot of cases, that's actually illegal for them to be sending you that email. For business to business, it's slightly different. The laws are a little bit more relaxed if it's a business to business communication than if it's a business to consumer communication. And that's very, very similar across the different laws around the world. But, look, on the whole, if you haven't asked to receive an email, you're not going to engage with it positively. And that is such a key thing that people need to know, is that if you want to be emailing people, particularly on an ongoing basis, to build that relationship with them, you really need to get that opt-in. You need to get that, yes, I want to receive emails from you. That is so key. And there's various different ways that you can do that, and social media are great channels to push that out through and get that in front of people so that they have the opportunity to say, yes, I want to receive emails from you. So, social media and lots of other different marketing channels work hand in hand with email marketing. Not one of them works individually. If you can link them all together, that's where you really get the sort of nirvana of marketing. You've got to have that multi-channel, that omni-channel approach. But, what you were saying is absolutely right. A lot of marketers will put out the message that they want to put out, the message that they need to get across to people, but they always forget, what is it that people want to hear about from me? And I always say to my clients, whenever you're building your opt-in, so this is where people can say to you, yes, I want to receive your emails, always put yourself in the shoes of your subscriber, your potential subscriber. What are those benefits that they're going to get by giving you their email address? Because an email address is a valuable asset that people have. It's one of the few channels that you can get directly through to somebody, through to their inbox, for example. Whereas if you think about social media or search engine marketing, you're putting a message out there and you're hoping that people see it. Whereas email marketing is one of the few channels. So if you think, SMS marketing, text messages, it's one of the other channels, but that really hasn't taken off to the same degree as other marketing channels have. But they're the only ones where you can get directly to somebody and you're getting their message into a place that they're going to be looking at, a lot of the time. People are checking their email accounts multiple times a day. If you think about yourself and how you use email, I bet you're in your email account at least, twice a day, checking different things, getting messages from people and checking out messages from different brands. Particularly for retailers, email is still one of the key channels that consumers want to receive those messages through. And one of the key reasons that people sign up for email marketing is to get special offers, to hear about the latest products that are launched, and if you're B2B, people want to build that relationship with you, get tips, get tricks, get help, and really find out more about the services that you provide. But you've got to do it in a way that speaks to that person that you're targeting. And this is where it really comes back to knowing your target audience, knowing what they want to receive from you, how it's going to help them, how it's going to benefit them. And, if we think about retailers, for example, the majority of communications that go out will be product based, will be selling your products. But you've got to think beyond that and think, how can I help people with those products? So, for example, if somebody buys a product from you, yes, send them that email asking for a review afterwards, send them all of that standard, confirmation messages and everything. But have a think about, perhaps you could set up a series of emails that help people to use that product. Do you have information about how other people have used it to its best advantage? A video on how to set it up properly, a tips sheet on how to set it up properly, depending on what that product is, or perhaps, if it's a beauty product, how to get the most out of using that beauty product. If it's a face cream, is it best to, cleanse and tone before you use the face cream, and give people that step-by-step guide. So, think about the products and what you're selling, but think about how you can help people use those products and get the most out of them. And in business to business, it's exactly the same. It's how can you help people? How can you prove your worth? How can you show people the results you can get them even before they buy your service from you, your online course, your book, your, whatever that might be? Show them that value first, and then they will come on and they'll think, wow, if I'm getting this for free, if I actually pay for X, Y, or Z service, imagine what I'm going to get for them then. So email marketing is a channel to push that information out by, and it's certainly a communication channel. It's not a one-way channel. So yeah, absolutely, you're right. You've got to get that opt-in, that yes, I want to receive emails from you, showing that interest, and then you've got to send them what they want to receive, what's going to engage them and keep them going with you going forward, or you're going to get unsubscribes. But just a little note, unsubscribes aren't a bad thing. Certainly not a bad thing. Embrace the unsubscribes, because if people don't want to receive emails from you, let them unsubscribe. Make that really, really easy, because you don't want to be sending emails to people who don't want to hear from you anymore. So just a little note on unsubscribes there.
Okay. So don't hide your unsubscribe button.
Absolutely. Make it really clear, because people aren't going to press that button unless they want to unsubscribe. So definitely do not hide the unsubscribe. You know, I have some clients who actually include it at the top of the email as well as at the bottom of the email to make it really, really easy. Now, obviously, you know, it depends on your design and what you're doing there, and how that fits in with the rest of your strategy. But the key is that people are not going to press it unless they want to unsubscribe. And if they want to unsubscribe, let them unsubscribe. The time at which unsubscribes become a problem is if your unsubscribes are really increasing and you're getting a lot of unsubscribes. And that's telling you something's wrong with what you're sending out.
And what happens if you hide the unsubscribe button? What is the consequence of people not being able to find it? What we did was we actually moved it down so much, so the email would have text, and then it would stop, and then there was this much amount of space, so you wouldn't see it immediately.
Yeah.
And then we were getting some emails from people saying like, "Stop with these emails." You know, not many, but we got a few. And what happens? What's the consequence?
Yeah, I was going to say, did you see your complaint rate increase? So people pressing that spam or junk button, did you see your complaints increase?
We didn't check that.
Definitely something to have a look at on those campaigns where you did that, because chances are if you hide the unsubscribe button, that's the next action that people are going to take. They're going to go, oh, well, there's no unsubscribe here. So exactly what you said, the next thing you do is go to that spam or junk button and you register a complaint. And that is very, very bad. Just a few complaints can cause you major deliverability issues. So actually getting your emails delivered to your subscribers. And literally, if you're hitting 3 complaints in every 1,000 people that you send out to, that's going to start to cause you deliverability issues. So it's a very, very small number, because the receiving email clients, so Hotmail, AOL, Yahoo, you know, Gmail, they're looking for this type of behavior. They're looking for positive engagement, but they're also looking for negative engagement. And negative engagement is hitting that spam or junk button. Hitting an unsubscribe button, it's not positive, it's not negative. It's nothing in the eyes of the receiving email clients. So what we want to do is encourage people to unsubscribe if they don't want to receive your emails, rather than using that spam or junk button, which is why it can sometimes be really helpful to have that unsubscribe button at the top of your email. If people are reaching for that spam or junk button, we want to stop them from doing that, and hopefully they'll use the unsubscribe instead. So worst case scenario, it can cause you really, really major deliverability problems. Complaints are one of the key reasons that your deliverability will drop. Other than that, it's just unsatisfactory for the people that you're sending those emails out to. Like you said, you started to receive emails saying, oh, you know, stop sending me these emails. So it increases the admin for you having to do those manually. But it also means that those people who wanted to unsubscribe can't, or don't know where that button is. So it's just not great as an experience for the subscriber.
I've got another question in relation to this, which is, so our list, we started building our list in 2013, and we use MailChimp, so there's like 5-star rating, 4-star rating, 3-star rating, 2-star rating. I think we have some 1-star ratings as well, probably. At what point do you actually go in and clean your email? At what point do you do that?
Yeah, I would do that, you know, at least once every 6 months or so. So you really want to be pulling people who've got anything less than a 3-star rating really in MailChimp. So just to put that kind of into terms for everybody else who's not using MailChimp, these are people who haven't opened or clicked on your email within a certain period of time. So I would say about 6 months. If you're sending an email, let's say once every week, once every 2 weeks, about 6 months is the time period you want to be looking at for those inactive subscribers. If you're sending more frequently than that, you might want to pull it back to about 3 months, for example. If you're sending a few emails a week, go to the 3-month inactive. But basically, anybody who hasn't opened or clicked on your emails, engaged with your emails within a specific time period, you want to be sending out emails to say to them, hello, do you still want to hear from us? Here's the things that have changed since you last read our emails. Here's some of the great facilities we have for you, great information we have for you. Here's the last time you purchased. If you're a retailer, you might want to use purchase in that information as well, because segmentation is really key. So how you would talk to people who haven't purchased and haven't engaged with your emails, or people who have purchased and haven't engaged with your emails, it's going to be completely different. Okay, so segmentation is really key, and that's getting into some more advanced stuff. But just at the basic level, anyone who hasn't opened or clicked on your emails in a certain period of time, you want to say to them, do you still want to hear from us? Here's what's changed, here's the benefits. If you're a retailer, giving them a special offer works really well to pull them back in and get them purchasing as well as engaging with your emails. But you want to do something different from what you usually do. Change up those subject lines, change up that template, make it really stand out and pop. But you want to be saying to people, over a series of 3, maybe 4 emails, do you still want to receive these emails from us? And if you don't, we're going to remove you from our sends at a certain point. And you want to cleanse your email address, because particularly with a system like MailChimp, you're paying for every subscriber that you're sending out to. Now, other systems work in a different way and work in the sense of you pay for everyone that you send out. So it's your send volume. But in MailChimp specifically, it's done based on the number of subscribers you have. Now, every single person who does email marketing will have anywhere between 30 to 40% up to 60 to 70% of their list that's inactive at any one time. So this is going to be quite a large chunk of your database. But think about this. If somebody hasn't opened or clicked on your emails in the last 6 months, let's say, and you're sending an email every week, that's quite a few emails that you've sent to them over that time that they've had that chance to engage with. Then you send them that specific series of emails and they don't re-engage. Are they going to engage again? Now, there are some schools of thought that say that, yes, these people perhaps over time will engage with them. And to be honest with you, you'd need a little bit more sophisticated a system to do some segmentation, move them out of the way, because inactive subscribers, again, can really affect your deliverability. So there's lots of ways of thinking about this. Now, these people could re-engage in the future, and you may just want to really reduce down the volume and have them as a segment that you send to perhaps once a month rather than once a week, and keep sending to them maybe. But I would say, to be honest with you, if they get to 12 months inactive, definitely remove them from your list. But at 6 months inactive, you need to be saying to them, do you want to receive emails from us still? Some people will resubscribe. It's not going to blow, it's not going to blow the candles out. It's not going to set the world on fire. These are people who've been inactive. So your open rate is going to be very low. Your click-through rate is going to be very low. But if you can even get a few of those people saying, yes, I do still want to receive those emails from you, you can then keep sending emails to them. But I would recommend that if you are triggering those emails, so sending them automatically, that's the best way to do it. So if you can set up a rule in your system that says, if people reach this date of inactivity, automatically trigger these emails, that's the best way to do it. If not, then run a manual campaign once every 6 months or so. So with MailChimp, for example, run a manual campaign once every 6 months with a series of emails, and just keep doing that every 6 months.
Okay. So you said 3 stars, so everybody with 3 stars or below?
Yeah.
Really?
Definitely.
So you kind of want 4 and 5 star people. Yeah. And then if you send out an email that's really popular, where you see your open rates really popular amongst the 4 or 5 stars, you could then send it to the 3 star people.
Yeah, absolutely. It really depends on what your strategy is going forward. You might want to just say, do you know what? If people don't re-engage at that, 6 month point, let's just get rid of them now. Or if you want to try them for a little bit longer, reduce that volume down, maybe send them 1 email a month, something really interactive, something really engaging. And again, if they then carry on and don't engage with your emails, then definitely remove them, because inactive subscribers alongside complaints can really cause problems for your deliverability. But it really depends on your business strategy, the technology that you have. I wouldn't want to say to everybody, just remove those subscribers, because sometimes there are occasions where I have seen subscribers reactivate after a long period of time. So I'll give you an example. If you are a company that really has a sales period once a year, then obviously if somebody's been inactive for a year, that's going to depend on your business. So if you are in insurance, for example, or you mainly sell gifts at Christmas, or something like that, that's once a year. So you really need to look at your strategy for your business. So even though you may be sending, a few other emails during the year, you might be emailing once a month. your main activity is going to happen once a year. So if you start to get rid of those subscribers, you're going to miss out on a lot of revenue. So, again, it's a very sort of broad subject, and it really depends on your business strategy and then at what point you would expect subscribers to re-engage. But, look, if you're a company that's making sales throughout the year, you don't have seasonality like that, you're sending an email once a month, once every 6 months, I would be clearing out that list and giving people the option. Do you want to stay subscribed? Anyone that says yes, brilliant. Anyone that doesn't reply or says no, obviously then they're out.
I guess what I'm thinking now with our list is like, well, now I have to get rid of all these names. It was all this work to get them, So
they're not engaging. They're not engaging with your emails anyway. So you're spending your money to keep them on your list. Yeah. So not only have you perhaps paid to acquire them, you're now paying MailChimp every month to keep them on your list. And yes, it's painful. It is really painful. But the thing with email marketing is it's really quality over quantity. Okay. It's better to have 100 people on your list that are going to engage with you and want to buy from you than 1,000 people who never open your emails or click on your emails or buy from you. So you've got to make that business decision for yourself. But if somebody's been on your list for, let's say, a year at the extreme example, hasn't opened or clicked, hasn't purchased from you, are they going to? That's what you got to think about.
Yeah. Is it quite normal for people that have an email list to sort of get the same reaction that, I now have to delete all these emails? Is that quite normal?
Oh, it's painful. It's so painful. And even the biggest businesses out there struggle with this. And you've got to think, if you've got 10,000 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 50,000 people, those really big businesses have got millions of people on their list. So for them to cull it, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of people in some instances, which is why some of them will take those inactive subscribers and put them onto a different stream of sending emails out. So they'll keep sending them for a little bit longer. They'll reduce that frequency and keep sending to them. But when you get sophisticated, you can do that with separate IP addresses and different sending infrastructures. Whereas when you're using MailChimp, you don't really have a choice about that for most cases. You can have dedicated IPs with MailChimp, but most of us are on shared IPs when we're using MailChimp. So this means that we're sharing our sending infrastructure with lots of other users. So in terms of that, we can't then set up different streams and different infrastructures to send different, segments of emails to different people. So in terms of the infrastructure, once you get up to being the bigger businesses, there's lots of different things that you would do with inactive subscribers. Whereas if you're on MailChimp, you're a lot more limited in what you can do in terms of the sending infrastructure. So what I would say is, 12 months absolute latest. The thing is with inactive subscribers, and this is just another way of looking at it, if somebody hasn't logged into their Yahoo account, for example, within I think it's 4 months now for Yahoo, but some of the other email clients are 6 months or 12 months. So this is somebody logging into their email account, not interacting with your individual emails, but logging into their email account overall. But if someone doesn't log into their email account in that time, that email address will be reclaimed by those email clients. And in some cases, it can then be turned into a spam trap. So this is basically their way of checking how you are keeping your list clean. It's called list hygiene. So what they're looking at is, are you sending to people who've been inactive with your emails? Because if they've been inactive with your emails, you're not keeping your list clean. You're not sending to people who want to hear from you. And this is one of, again, a negative engagement metric that they're looking at when they're deciding on whether or not to deliver your emails, and then whether or not to deliver them to the inbox or the junk folder, or there's a third option where they go missing. Now we're getting into some more advanced stuff here. But the key is that inactive subscribers, if somebody's been inactive with your emails for 6 months or a year, the chances of them reactivating are quite low. Now, like I said, there are some cases where they do, and that's a completely different strategy. But on the whole, think about your emails. If you haven't read an email from someone for 6 months, the next time you go in to read an email from them, chances are you're going to press that unsubscribe button, right? if you go in at all, or you just delete them, or you press the spam or junk button. So again, you've got the complaint side, you've got the inactive users side, you've got the chance of them turning into spam traps if they're actually not logging into their email account at all. And not everybody signs up to emails with their primary email address. So we all have an email address that we're checking all the time, but most of us also have a secondary email address, and maybe even a third email address, and how often do we even log into those email accounts? So you might sign up for something to get a freebie, for example, but then you may not even be interested in those emails. So as an email marketer and as a marketer and an entrepreneur, you've got to be looking at this and saying, right, what are the chances of somebody coming back and engaging with these emails and actually buying from me? Because otherwise I'm wasting my time and my money sending those emails to them. So it really is quality over quantity for many different reasons.
One of the things that I do when I check the emails that are going to be sent out is that I imagine that like 100,000 people are going to read this, or like 1 million people are going to read this email. And that's because, we don't have that kind of list size, certainly not that kind of open rate. But that's the mindset that I put myself in when I send out an email. Is that a smart thing to do? So let's say we've got like 100 people reading the email, or 50 people. What kind of psychology should you be using to kind of increase your list size and your quality? Because obviously, if you wrote an email that's just like incredibly well written, and people are actually then sharing it and sending it to friends, and that, because that's the kind of engagement that we actually want.
Oh, absolutely. That's, again, that's the nirvana. If you can write an email that's so engaging that they forward it on to their friends, or perhaps share it on social media, that's brilliant. And again, it's linking those channels together, the different marketing channels. So, that's fantastic. And whether you've got one person or 1 million people on your list, you want to be creating the best content that you can. But don't let that hold you back. Some people are so worried about creating perfect content that they then don't send any emails. So I wouldn't want that to hold anyone back. When I'm saying create good content, I mean, know your audience and know what's going to help them. So if you're business to business provider, what are those tips, tricks, techniques, inside knowledge, behind the scenes knowledge that's going to help people, that's going to help your audience? That's what you want to be sending out. And then, of course, if you've got something to sell as well, that's going to be some of your emails as well. But again, when you're selling things, you want to focus on the benefits of selling them, not the features. So if you've got an online program, it's not about, it's got 3 modules and it's delivered to you in a video format and all of that. It's about, what are those results that people are going to receive once they take out your course, once they go through it? Are they going to increase their sales by 50%? Are they going to double their sales? Are they going to increase their open rate? What are those specifics of what it is that they're going to get once they go through your course, or read your book, or, take you on as a one-to-one consultant, for example? What are those results that they're going to get? That's so important. And again, for product-based businesses, you're focusing in on the product. So it's, a very, very different way of doing email marketing. But again, how can you help them? How can you show them what that product can bring to their life? Can you show them a gorgeous picture of, a beautiful home with your cushions in the home? So you're showing them that ideal lifestyle. It's the same thing as the benefit driven copy in, a B2B email. In B2C, business to consumer, it's showing them how their lives can be better, all of that kind of thing. So really think about benefits. But whether or not you're emailing one person or 1 million people, it's exactly the same thing. It makes no difference, because you want to make sure that you're putting out, the best information that you can for that audience. And it's the same when you're growing your email list as well. Again, it's benefit driven. What are those benefits they're going to get when they sign up to receive your emails? What are they going to learn from you on an ongoing basis? Are they going to get those tips, tricks, and techniques if you're business to business? If you're business to consumer, are they going to learn about exclusive discounts? So, are they going to get discounts before anybody else? Are they going to get access to products, 24 hours before they launch to everybody else? Are they going to get exclusive event invites? What is it that they're going to receive that's going to really benefit them? You've got to know what it is that your target audience want. Now, something that a lot of people do, and something I recommend that you look at as well, is when somebody signs up to your list, giving them an extra hook, an extra incentive. So this is sometimes called an opt-in offer or a lead magnet. People call it different things, but it's basically that ethical bribe, that extra thing that says, yeah, you're going to get all these benefits on an ongoing basis from my email marketing. But here's a little something extra for you right now when you subscribe. So whether that's an ebook, a free video, a free chapter out of your book, whatever it might be, for business to business, those are some great things to have as that extra hook. It could be a webinar sign up. That's a hook to give people something straight away, as well as getting your emails going forward. For business to consumer retail products, it's a lot more, it's product based. So it's a discount off, 20% off your first order, or, £1 or $1 off, £10 off your first order, or free delivery, free shipping, or a free sample, something like that. But it's that extra added benefit of them giving you their email address, as well as those benefits of receiving your emails on an ongoing basis. And, look, if email marketing didn't work, then people wouldn't still give out their email address to companies. And it's one of the top ways for companies to be communicating with people. You've got to think how you use that going forward, right? We're all using our emails all the time. Yeah, we're on social media, but if you want to convert people through to customers, there's a great statistic that I've got for you. Email is 40 times better at acquiring new customers than Facebook or Twitter. So social media is great, and it's a great way to build relationships, communicate with people, extend your reach, get that brand awareness. But try and be driving people through to your email list, because once you've got them in your email list, you've got that targeted, fast, direct way to get through to people, and you can personalize it as well. So social media, for example, again, you're putting your message out there. You're not talking to individual people. You can't put their name into your post or, things like that. With email marketing, any data that you have on people, you can use it in your emails to make them more and more personal. So when we're talking about great content, that's, again, the nirvana of email marketing. It's not just sending out one message to everyone on your list. That's not going to get you the best results. So the best type of content is when you use segmentation. You break your list down into chunks of people who have similar attributes. So for example, if you ask people, what they're interested in. So let's say that you have a retail business that sells women's clothing, men's clothing, homeware, kids clothing. If you ask people on sign up, what are those products that they want to hear about? Are they most interested in hearing about women's clothing? And they say, yep, little tick there. And yep, I want to hear about children's clothing and homeware. Okay, so it's not saying that they will never want to hear about menswear, because they may have a husband or a dad or something that they want to buy from. But on the whole, they want to hear about women's wear, kids wear, and homeware. So those are the types of emails you send to them. Okay, so you're getting that information and you're sending to them what's relevant. You can use segmentation in lots of different ways, just down to whether they're male or female, whether they've purchased from you, haven't purchased from you before. You want to be talking to these people in different ways. So segmentation helps you to tailor your message individually for them. But even if you are sending out a message that is going to everyone, for example, and I know that, a lot of people are still doing this, start to use the data that you have to get personal. Even if at a basic level, that's just putting in someone's first name. So if you're collecting their first name, it helps to build that trust if you can pull their first name in. Now that is basic level of personalization. You could bring in information about a previous product that they've purchased, or, information about where they live. Anything like that you hold on them, you can start to use that data in your emails. But if you can use segmentation and send different messages to different chunks of your list, that's even better. And then at the highest level, we've got what I like to call the holy trinity of email marketing. The right message to the right person at the right time. Now, using triggered emails, automated campaigns, that's how you achieve that. So these are emails that send automatically based on specific criteria. So they're almost doing that segmentation for you automatically. So for example, the very first time that people will trigger emails is when people sign up. So on sign up, send this specific email to these people. So the trigger, the segmentation, is only send it to people at the point at which they signed up for your emails from you. So that's the trigger, that's the segmentation that's going on. Now, it's the right message because you're sending it based on that action to the right person. You're triggering it to those individual people at the right time, just after they've completed an action with you. They're in that mindset where they want to find out more about you. They're interested in your company. They've said, yes, I want to receive emails from you. So that's just one example of a trigger. Another example might be after somebody purchases. You then trigger emails to confirm their purchase, and then X number of days after, ask them for a review, give them information about how to use that product. It's all triggered at certain stages after that initial trigger, which was the purchase. Now, there are lots of triggers, from behavioral information to demographic information. It's lots of different information based on what you know about them or behavior that they've shown you. So those are just a couple of examples, but that's the nirvana. That's where you see the highest results from email marketing, is where you're sending out the right message based on what somebody's just done, an action they've taken or an action they haven't taken. So it's that segmentation, that personalization, those triggered emails. That is where the money is in email marketing. That's where the return on investment is. It's not sending the same message to everybody and hoping that it engages with some of the people. If you really, really, really want to get clever with email marketing and make the highest return on investment, that's where you need to be, that segmented, personalized, triggered communications. But again, that's not possible for everyone right now, because some of you are just getting started with email marketing, perhaps, and that's okay. Get started, send out that message to everyone, send out that weekly newsletter or whatever that might be. The newsletter is an informational type of email, so a sales email, and you've got lots of different other types of emails. But just get started with it. But if you can, once you've got started, you've started to build your email list, you're getting a few hundred, few thousand people on your list. You've got to start getting clever with your email marketing if you want to make the most of what you're doing.
So when somebody opts in and then you have like a really good automatic funnel, is it then a good idea, like after maybe 3 or 4 emails, to then offer them something to buy? Let's say they opted in for something free, and then they get like lots of value, and then at the end you say, oh, would you like our special 50% off for this for 2 months?
Yeah. Okay. So you've got, again, a couple of different ways of looking at it. So business to consumer, retail businesses, you can be making sales from that very first welcome email. It's a very, very different model than it is for business to business. So business to consumer, especially if you're giving people that offer straight out of 10% off your first order as your hook, your lead magnet, you want to be pushing that from email 1, because that's what people are signing up for, to hear about your products. So with business to business, so service-based businesses, reverse it. It's completely the other way. Like you said, you've got to give value first. You've almost got to prove yourself. It's that know, like, and trust factor. You've got to build up that value first. Now, what I would say is the other consideration for service-based businesses, business to business, is the actual cost of the product that you're offering. If you can get somebody, early on in the relationship, so in the first couple of weeks of subscribing, maybe even immediately after they subscribe, offer them something at a very low cost, but with high value. So, perhaps a £7 product or a $7 product, or a £9 or a $9 product. Those numbers work really well. Or a 14, I think, works really well as well. If you can offer something really low cost money-wise, but that delivers a lot of value, that shows you the people who are willing to get out their credit card or, their bank card and put down that money. So again, this is where you start to use segmentation as to who purchased that initial offer, who didn't. What I would do is build up, look, if these are cold leads that have just subscribed, they've never heard of you before, trying to sell them $1,000 or £1,000 product in the first 30 days of them knowing you, chances are that's not going to work. Okay. And you're then going to be disappointed, because you're going to be thinking, well, why haven't they bought from me? So, you need to be realistic in terms of, where you're building up to people and the value that you're offering, whether they've heard of you before, haven't heard of you before. Very, very different models that you're going to be putting in place. And again, this is where the segmentation comes in. But on the whole, I would say my advice would be build up. Start at low cost, high value, and then go up. So perhaps if you have a $7 product, then you have maybe a $97 product or $147, something like that. Build up from there. And then as you go through the relationship over the month, 6 months, a year, you're building up. And this is where triggered emails come in really well, because they can then build up through that relationship. It's not just about that first set of emails. You can be triggering emails, going forward for a year, 2 years even. And again, that's where the segmentation comes in. So, I would suggest don't go straight in with, $1,000, £1,000 product, because chances are that's not going to work unless you are somebody who is really, really well known. You've got a lot of exposure out there already. People will already know about you before they even come on your email list. Then it might be a slightly different scenario. But start with something slightly lower, but really high value. So yes, you can offer a sale within those first 30 days. Build that value, build a relationship, know, like, and trust factor, give them lots for free first, and then lead to a sale. Absolutely.
And when it comes to so let's talk about, so now we've talked about, people that you have on the list, how to send out to the list. How about getting people, I mean, you mentioned certain things, but how do we actually get people's information? And I know that if you just ask for somebody's email, the opt-in rate goes up. If you ask for first name and email, then it goes down. And the more information you ask for, the less likely it is that you get people to opt in. We actually do first name and email. And I know that decreases the opt-in, but then you can write them a personalized email.
Yeah.
So how do we get people on our list, and what kind of information should we be asking for? Some people also ask for phone numbers. For the sort of SMS stuff. Like, so if you're doing an event, I was going to attend this real estate investing event in New York, and they asked for first name, last name, email, and phone number. And then, of course, they were texting, phoning, and emailing like after and before, which was really a really effective way of getting my attention. But what's the sort of, tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is obviously a very, very big topic. So I'm just going to break it down into sort of a few key elements. So the first thing is, you're absolutely right. The more information you ask for, the lower your conversion rate to opt-in will be. But the more qualified those people will be. So, I've seen some companies where literally the form is, 10 questions long, but it means that anyone who does go through that form is highly qualified, okay, and is a, much more of a hot lead, let's say. So again, it depends on your strategy and what you want to do. But what I would say is, on the whole, collect only the information that you need on sign up. So the information that you need, I totally agree with you, is email address and first name, because you can start personalizing and building that trust from the very first email that you send out if you've got their first name. Now, that's not going to decrease conversion rate by that much, because it's only one more field. So I think that's cool. And people are pretty used to giving their first name now, and they're reasonably happy with that. So in terms of phone number, this is a really interesting one. And I would say, depending on, again, what that strategy is and what it's for, so events, yeah, it makes total sense to have that. But I would say, tell people why you want that information, okay? So, and make it perhaps optional. So they could give you their email address if they want SMS updates, but it's up to them if they want to receive those SMS updates and give you their phone number, for example. So you can make it optional. Not every field has to be required.
What I have seen with the phone number is, it says, would you like a reminder before the event?
Exactly.
And then you go, oh yeah, even it says like, would you like a free reminder? Because some people charge for it, right? Like plane companies, airport, what do you call them? Transportation companies. They will charge you for it. Airlines, that's what it's called.
Absolutely. You're right. But if you let people know why you want that extra information, they're much more likely to give it to you, because it's, again, it's a benefit to them. They're going to be getting those reminders. It's not just for the company's benefit. It's a benefit to that subscriber. So yeah, that can really work. The less fields you collect, the less qualified people are, but the more conversions you'll have. The more fields you collect, the more qualified they are, but the less conversions you'll have. So it really depends on what your strategy is there. So what I would say is definitely email address and first name is what you want to be collecting. But yeah, if you want to collect more, don't forget, you don't have to collect everything on the sign up form. So there's two ways of doing this. You can have a 2-step sign up. So you can have collect that first name and email address. Then when they press the submit button, they've subscribed. But on that second page, you have a second step to the sign up saying, do you fancy giving us a little bit more information? Here's why. Tell them why they're giving you that information. Okay, so you can have a two-step sign up. Or you can get them to sign up initially and then send out perhaps, a survey or a link to update their preferences in a future email that you send out. So again, it depends on what your strategy is there. But, you can use something called progressive profiling, finding out more information about someone as you go through the relationship. You don't have to find out everything straight away. Only find out the information you're going to use on sign up. So for example, you'll see some people asking for your birth date, for example. Now, and again, you should see, and if they're doing it right, you should see a reason why they're asking for that information. And a lot of the time you'll see that people will ask for that information because they want to send you like a special birthday gift or something. So for example, I not only am I an email marketing consultant, but I also have a second business, which is a catering company. And with that catering company, we have a little cafe and we have a loyalty scheme. So when we ask people to sign up for the loyalty scheme, we let them know that by signing up, they're not only going to be able to collect points on the loyalty scheme, but if they would like, they can sign up to also receive exclusive special offers, discounts, event invites from us by email. We also ask them for their birthday, and if they give us their birthday, we say to them, you'll get an extra little special birthday gift sent through to you, where we send them through a little voucher for something free in the cafe, for example. So as long as you tell people what that benefit is for them to give you their birth date, for example, or phone number or whatever that information is, people will be much more likely to give it to you. But I wouldn't make it a required field unless it's something that's business critical to what you're doing. So that's in terms of the fields that you're collecting. Now, in terms of driving traffic, there are lots of different ways to drive traffic. But the key question that you need to ask yourself is this: where are your target audience hanging out? Whether that's online or offline. Where are they that you can get to them to put that form in front of them and say, would you like to sign up to receive X information from us? Whatever that information is. So online, there's so many different places. And it really depends on your target audience. Are there specific blogs that they're hanging out on? Are there forums that they go on? Are there specific websites that you can advertise on that they're always going on? Are there, what are those social media channels? So, we've talked about social media a little bit today, but there are so many different social media channels that you've got to look at what is the social media channel that your audience are on and in the right frame of mind to be engaging with your business. So for example, if you're targeting entrepreneurs, Facebook, Twitter, they're really great platforms and people are going on there to learn and to network and all of that. If you're trying to target, let's say, the CEO of a major company, yeah, they probably are on Facebook, but when they're on Facebook, they're not on there for business. They're on there to engage with their friends and family. They're on LinkedIn when they want to do business stuff, and that's where they're in that frame of mind to actually sign up for something or buy something or communicate with someone or network. So you've got to be on the right social media channels for your audience when they're in that frame of mind, when you can connect with them based on your business. So social media is great, but look at the right channels, and you can't be on all channels. Choose one, do it really, really well before you move on to another channel. That's really, really key. But, you've got to be looking at where are your audience. So, for example, I went to we've got something called the Good Food Show that happens here in London. So, slight pleasure, slight business. I was up there at the weekend. And what I noticed was that actually more and more companies this year are actually building email marketing into their strategy. So there are a lot of forms on the stands. There are a lot of iPads around for people to sign up, there and then on the stand. So again, you're getting to your target audience. If you're exhibiting at an event, that's going to be where your target audience are. So use that as an opportunity to get them to sign up to your list for more information. So again, it really depends, whether that's online or offline. Where are your target audience? Your target audience, because different companies will have different target audiences. So you've got to find those channels that work for you and then work out, right, how can I get my message in front of those people on those channels? And there's lots and lots of different ways to do that. Social media, it could be just organic posts that you're putting out. It could be running a competition. It could be doing paid advertising on those channels. It could be search engine marketing. So there, it could be organically optimizing your website for different search engines. It could be doing pay-per-click advertising on search engines. It could be doing a remarketing campaign on search engines. There are so many different different channels. And then when you look at those different ways to use those channels, you need to look at what's right for your business. But start with that question. The people that I want to target and bring into my business to sign up for my email newsletter and to sign up to buy stuff from me, where are they? Where are they all hanging out that I can target them with information that's going to be relevant to them? It could be guest blogging somewhere. It could be putting an ad out somewhere. Whatever that is, you've got to find them and push your message out to them.
And at what point, so when somebody sees like an offer and they decide to go say, okay, I'm going to sign up, psychologically, what kind of goes on in people's heads when you kind of make that decision?
Yeah, it's that benefit driven. It's the what's in it for me. You know, nobody's going to sign up unless they know what the benefit is for them. So that is the main psychology. So you need to step into their shoes and think, right, what is it that's going to really entice them, help them, you know, change their lives or their business in some way? You know, regardless of whether your product or service, is the same thinking. You know, what is that benefit? So again, we're coming back to that benefit driven information. What are they going to get when they give you their email address? That's what's going on in the background when they see something. You know, if they see, you know, a sign up, you know, what is it that's going to benefit them? So you've got to make sure that that is what you're advertising. You know, it's not what they're going to get, it's what that's going to do for them.
If you ever go to any entrepreneur meetups and there's a lot of new entrepreneurs, they're very, very often, because obviously when you're an entrepreneur, you're interested in something, you want to sell something, you're so passionate about that. Plus, a lot of people are like, oh, I want to make lots of money, which is all about really your passion for this product and your passion for you becoming wealthy and you making lots of money. So then when these entrepreneurs go out and start selling, they're all about what's in it for them rather than I say understanding. I mean, this is something that I'm sort of saying them and me. I was like that. Like when I started out, I think maybe the first 3 years, more or less.
Oh, you've frozen. I think I lost you for a second there. You froze.
Okay, I think am I back now?
Yes, you are back now. Yes.
So maybe for the first 3 years, I was very focused on my agenda, you know, because I didn't come from a marketing background. I didn't come from like a sales and marketing background. So I think for a lot of people starting out, they're like, me, what's in it for me? And we have that mindset in the beginning. And then it's really like sales and marketing will not work well until we make this shift to understanding that your business isn't for you. It is actually for other people, for to improve other people's lives in one way or the other. Whether you sell, it doesn't matter what you're selling, but your company is actually for other people, and you make money on the basis that you're helping improve other people's lives to in a certain way or certain form. And it's so easy to forget. And you know, we sit down, we write our to-do list, we're writing down, okay, I want this, I want that. But then when it comes to business, it's actually about, you know, serving and helping and adding value. And there's, of course, lots of different ways of doing that. So it's very normal. I just wanted to say that because there's probably a lot of people watching this going, you know, writing lots of notes and realizing that, you know, it's not really about me. It's about other people and what they want and the benefit that they want to see in their life. Yeah. How can we stay focused on that when it comes to marketing in general? How can we kind of remember that on a daily basis?
Yeah. Well, you need to remember that by serving other people, you will eventually serve yourself. So you're going to make those sales by serving other people. So if you can start and come from that place of helping other people and getting that information to them in a way that really entices them, your sales will follow on from that. And it really is such a hard thing to think about because, you know, we understand our businesses and we understand what we're doing and the products and the services that we're selling, but we have to find the way to communicate that with the people who are going to buy them. And that's got to be benefit driven. So by doing that and by reframing how we're thinking about our products and services, we will make sales. But if you come at anything from a desperation and I need to make sales, oh my goodness, and a panic, you're not going to make sales. That's just the way that the world works. So you've got to come at it from, you know, a helping side. And the more that you help people and the more you give, the more you will get in return. And that's the way that I always think about it. And again, whether that's business to business or business to consumer, business to consumer, you're helping people by putting your products in front of them. It's a very, very different model for marketing. But again, think about how you can help them to use those products, help them to get the most out of those products. So again, always thinking about how you can help them. How can you theme it? So for example, your email could be themed as, how to decorate your home for Christmas. No, you'll be selling products within that, but you're giving people help and some information that they want. So, whether you're business to business or business to consumer, always think about how can I help, and then put my products in front of people, my services in front of people. What are those results that they're going to achieve? Are they going to, like we said, increase their sales? Are they going to create the perfect Christmas dinner table? Whatever that might be, your services and products are still behind that. But it's the benefits that you're pushing forward. So, don't try not to come from a place of desperation. And I know it's hard that as entrepreneurs when we're starting, it can be a bit desperate when we've got to pay our bills and, all of those kind of things. But just try and think, how can I help and serve people? And by doing so, it will then increase my exposure. It will, show people how I can benefit them. And then they will come to me through that.
And just wanted to mention, so when you have employees as well, it is the same thing. Like they are asking, what's in it for me working for this guy. So again, it's about like helping your employees, creating a fun environment, educating them, socializing. So it's really about, like, if you're an entrepreneur, it's really about adding value throughout the whole value chain. And I think that's really, really important to bear in mind. And sometimes that's really difficult because staff will be at a different level. Like entrepreneurs are oftentimes at a different level of a greater understanding of how the world works. So your staff, they won't understand that. Your staff will be there to just make money, to just pay their bills, and they're probably more interested in football than they are in your company. But the thing is, like, if you add value to them, and if you think of adding value in some kind of way or form, then ultimately the whole work environment becomes more fun. If they have more fun at work, they'll write better emails, you'll get more customers, etc., etc. So I just wanted to put that in there. So common mistakes in terms of, what are the top 3 common mistakes in email marketing when you send it out?
Okay. The top 3 common mistakes. Okay, so the first one when you're sending out an email is not checking before you send it out. So, you should do pre-send testing and make sure that all your links work, your images display properly, that everything renders really nicely and can be engaged with on a mobile device. So mobile is one of the key trends at the moment. And, you'll see well over 50% of opens happening on mobile devices on average. Now, I've seen clients anywhere from 20% to 80% of opens happening on a mobile device. Clicks are still happening on desktop and webmail devices. So the actual engagement going through to purchase is still happening a lot more on webmail and desktop, but opens are happening on a mobile device. So, you've got to make sure that your emails are optimized for mobile as well. So that would be, I guess, the second mistake that people are making is not making sure that their emails render, look really nice, and are able to be engaged with on a mobile device, because you've got to remember, got like fat fingers trying to type on the screen and, to press those calls to action. You've got to make sure they're really well spaced, they're really nice and big, that the text is slightly bigger, and there's lots of various different ways to do that. There's lots of ways to make your emails, display really well on a mobile device. If you're using MailChimp, a lot of the templates in there will be mobile responsive, so they'll use a piece of CSS code to automatically move things around, and you'll see if you've got something that's 2 columns, they'll wrap around and they'll go underneath each other and they'll stack. That's a full-on responsive template, but there's lots of other ways to do that if you're not using MailChimp and if you're doing that. But basically, so not testing before they send and having something wrong in their email. So spelling, links not working, images not showing, all of that kind of thing. Not having a mobile responsive email is another key mistake. And the third mistake I would say is, and there's the one guaranteed way to increase your results, and a lot of people aren't doing this, and that's testing. So it's testing to learn what works for your audience and what doesn't work. Do shorter or longer subject lines work better? Does using asking a question in your subject line work better than not asking a question? What are those techniques that work better? Does having a blue call to action work better than a green call to action? There's so many things you can test in your emails, and I would advise just getting started with testing, even if it is just on the subject lines. Just starting to work out what works best for your audience and what doesn't. Look, unless you've got thousands of people on your list and you've got a whole load of resources, testing can be really difficult to do. But just start with the basics and start to learn for yourself what works and what doesn't. Even if it's just what content resonates better with my audience than others. It's not necessarily running a full-on testing strategy, but just looking at your results and saying, well, what's worked better, what got the most opens and clicks and what didn't, and using that in your strategy going forward. So learning from what you've done and going forward. So I would definitely say pre-send testing, not optimizing for mobile devices, and not testing and learning from what you've done previously are three key mistakes that a lot of people make.
And how important is the title in terms of opening?
Oh, so important. So your subject line is one of the key things, along with your friendly from name, as who it's coming from, that determines whether somebody opens or clicks on your email. If somebody doesn't open your email, then they're not going to see all of that content that you've got, and they're not going to click on it, and they're not going to convert. So having a killer subject line is that first step in getting your email opened. Now, alongside the subject line, you've got something called the pre-header. The pre-header is the first line of text that appears in your email, and you want to make sure that you're optimizing this, because in a lot of email clients, you'll see it on an iPhone, or you'll see it in Gmail if you've got it turned on, or Yahoo if you've got it turned on, in terms of how you view your emails in your email client. So the first line of text gets pulled in underneath the subject line in your inbox. So this is giving you the opportunity to extend that information that you're giving in the inbox before somebody even clicks through on that email. Clicks through and opens that email. So subject line, optimized pre-header text, two key things that you need to be looking at to get those emails opened, and then the content will be viewed, and then hopefully they will click through and convert from your email.
What about when should we send the emails? So my audience is basically all over the world. I usually use Time Warp with MailChimp, which basically gets it sent out, at the same time. So is it during lunch? Is it during the evening? Is it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Or does it totally depend on the segment, the person, the list, the business? So let's say it's a B2B internet marketing business.
Yeah, totally depends. Totally depends on your business and, who you're sending to. So you'll see that there will be lots of different surveys and things out online that say, Tuesday at 10 a.m. is the best time to send an email. Well, as soon as that report is published, and bear in mind that's an average of all the different clients that they're looking at for that report. So some that's right, some that's wrong. But as soon as that report's published, it very quickly becomes the worst time to send an email, because everyone then goes, oh, Tuesday at 10 a.m. I've got to send my email then. And everyone gets bombarded with emails. So, take everything like that with a pinch of salt. Now, look, business to business during the week is probably going to work better, because people are again in that work mode. They're sitting at their desks in their offices and they're working and they're answering their emails. Entrepreneurs, we work all the time. We work Monday to Sunday, so again, depends on your audience. Business to consumer, again, I've seen messages work really well on a Tuesday, but I've also seen messages work really well on a Saturday, when people are actually able to sit down and spend time. So what you've got to do again is test for your audience. Try sending your emails at different times and different days and see where you get the best results. It's something that really needs to be looked at for your audience. There is no one time that I would say this is, guaranteed the best time and day to send an email, because again, as soon as I said that, everyone will send it at that time, and then it becomes the worst time. So you've got to test it for your audience, and who they are and how they're interacting with their emails. So have a little think about how that would work for you. But yeah, there isn't one time or day that I could give you. It's different for lots of different businesses that I work with. Okay,
Kate, you have added so much value here. I've been taking lots of notes. You've been seeing me take lots of notes, and we've got a long to-do list here with how to optimize, improve what we currently do. Always trying to learn, and you've added massive value here today. So if you've been watching this and we want to hear more about you. We want to, how can we engage with you? Do you have anything on your website that you can give away, or do you do any training or courses? Can you please tell us about any offers?
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you go to www.shinealightmedia.com, right there on the homepage, you will see my email opt-in where you can download a free checklist of the secret to creating automated email campaigns that work for you. So we've been talking about that holy trinity of email marketing, that right message, right person, right time. So if you want to get started using automated campaigns and want to know how you can make them work for you, then jump onto my website, www.shinealightmedia.com. You'll see it right there on the homepage where you can download your free checklist. Now, I've obviously got my blog and lots of other things, but that's certainly the key thing that I would recommend jumping onto. Obviously, you can find me on social media. If you search for Shining Light Media on Facebook, on Twitter, just take off the A at the end and you'll find me on Twitter and Periscope. I'm obviously on lots of different social media channels. And if you would like to work with me, then the best way to get hold of me is through my website. And you can see all the different services that I offer. And also there are a range of different courses that I offer online that you'll find at www.theemailmarketingacademy.com. But just to get you started, go to shinealightmedia.com, download your free automated campaign checklist, and you'll get a little bit more of an idea, other than obviously all the things we've talked about today, about making those automated campaigns work for you.
I noticed on your website that you didn't have a pop-up box that said opt in for this and that. Why don't you have that? Is there a reason for that?
I do. Maybe it's because maybe you've visited my website previously, and it's with the cookie tracking. It's stopped it coming up again. But
right.
there is a pop up on there.
I have so if you been to your website before.
There we go.
So that's a smart thing to do if you have a good offer to have this opt-in box pop up. That is a good idea. Okay. Are you still here?
Yeah. Oh, you froze again. Yeah. A pop-up is a great thing to have on your website. You've got to do it right. You've got to be able to make sure it's really clean, really clear, again, benefit driven, and that people can close it down. But definitely test that for your audience. Some people love them, some people hate them, but they can enormously increase your conversion rate. So definitely something to test there. But yeah, there is one on my website, but if you visited before, then you wouldn't see it within a certain amount of time. So that's probably why you're not seeing it today. But anyone new visiting my website will probably see that come up as well.
Actually, on the Hardcore MBA website, we have a winning mind hypnosis that we give away. And I actually got an email from a client that said, I've been listening to your winning mind hypnosis for 3 weeks. I entered a raffle and I won a Omega James Bond watch.
Wow!
So that was really cool. That made me very happy to see that what we made helped somebody else. And so guys, if you enjoyed this episode, definitely check out Kate online. I've been taking so many notes, and I've been doing email marketing for 2 years. And been trying to get really good at it. So if I learned this much in 1 hour, imagine how much you can learn by engaging with her. And also, if you enjoyed this video or listening to this podcast, writing a review, giving a thumbs up on YouTube, all those little things help. And you'll find that the more value you add in the world, the more value you will be getting back. Thank you for watching the show. Signing out here from beautiful, snowy Oslo, Norway. Thank you, Kate. And bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by MrOutsource.com. Outsourcing to the Philippines done for you. Mr. Outsource is a recruitment company matching busy entrepreneurs with Filipino virtual assistants, so you can have the time to focus on what's important.